All right, how's everyone doing today? Welcome back to the Vays YouTube channel, where we do a bit of deep dives into the latest and greatest geopolitical issues with a slight focus on the United States. And today, I really wanted to do a show because the conference is coming up next week. I will not be doing any shows next week. And the debate last night was such a weird clown show that I do want to do a little bit of a deep dive on it. While we let people come in, I'm still on the hunt for. I'm going to open a pack because otherwise I'm going to forget. I'm going to do this quickly and then we're going to go right into screen share. I do want to talk about the markets for a minute, basically based on how many great calls I did this morning on the Financial Summit YouTube stream. And we are on the hunt for the poker card. It is one of 21. This is now my third or second to third box, probably third box that I'm opening. I lost my 1080p streaming on Zoom because Zoom sucks. And I will be, I don't know, probably at the end of the year, I'm going to find a different way to live stream. I just don't want to pay Zoom, uh, you know, $50 a month to stream in 1080p. It's just not worth it. So I had to lower my account. It just didn't make sense anymore. So yeah, here we go. I'm gonna do this fairly quickly. I like the halving card. That's a good card. We are. I have no idea what the special card's gonna be. That is the Genesis block card. We have the stack chain card. We have, what is this? This is Bitcoin Racing. Bitcoin Racing card. And I think the next, is it the next card? Nope. Wow. Oh, there it is. Natalie Brunell. Man, I have so many Natalie Brunells. It's a 1 of 500. They're all good cards. That's going to go into a special protective case. There's here the rest of the cards. I am going to try to remember to open one more pack at the end of the show. Hopefully, we will eventually find the poker card. It's the only card I still need to complete my set. Here's the other pack I plan to open. Okay, let's go to screen share. We have 100 live viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. So quick thing, the Bitcoin market has recovered this morning. Here's the weekly chart. I talked about the weekly chart this morning. Please check out the Financial Summit YouTube stream for the financial videos. I want to specifically talk about the short term. Here is Bitcoin on a 5-minute chart. There was a monster rally. But I don't really want to talk about Bitcoin. I want to talk about the two trades I discussed in detail this morning on the Financial Summit channel. One of them was a trade in the oil market. We have a daily MRI buy inside a weekly MRI buy. I specifically put on a mock trade here on TradingView with an entry at $66.50 in the futures markets with a stop loss at $65.25. You can see that this trade is already very, very nicely in my favor. And it was even nicer in my favor before. It was already making more money than it was risking. I would now be lowering the stop loss significantly. And I would be lowering the stop loss to the bottom of the body of this candle, if not already into a break-even zone. This is a swing trade. This is a multi-day trade that could potentially turn into a multi-week trade. And in the futures, in the world of oil futures, one contract is 1,000 barrels of oil. So right now, you see that the price of oil is up. Let's say it's up $1. Let's round this up to 67.50, which it was way beyond that, like just a few minutes ago. So a $1 increase in the price of oil off of one contract is $1,000 in profit. If I used to trade 4 to 5 of these contracts, so this trade, and I would have waited weeks, if not months, for this trade, and in less than a day, this trade would have already made me, over at least 5 grand. And I would be setting a break-even stop loss. I'd probably take some profit already, even though it's very, very soon, but the move was awesome. And after I talked about this trade, the price of oil fell like 75 cents. So it went against me at first. It never got to my stop loss. Now this is an incredible, incredible trade. I also discussed the high probability of an 11 a.m. reversal in the stock market this morning. This is a 10-minute chart, and you can see the 10-minute chart hits an MRI buy. This is the 1050 candle. This is the 11 a.m. candle. Even if I would have waited till I saw strength, if we break that down to a 5-minute candle, where do I see strength? At least here. This is the 10:55 a.m. candle. The moment this candle starts going above the prior candle's high, or in this case, the prior candle's high on a 10-minute candle, if you really want to, you can even go here. That is undeniable strength at exactly 11 a.m. You're probably like 2 minutes shy of 11 a.m. And from that point on, the S&P 500 pretty much went straight up for 100 points. This would be, if I was still trading the strategy today versus when I was trading it 5, 6 years ago, this would have been probably the greatest trading that I ever had. I've never once caught a 100-point move in the market, and I don't see how I would not have held it at least some of my position all the way and still holding it, right? Like this is probably where I would be setting a tight stop loss. Right here on this drop, it's possible my stop loss gets hit, maybe, but it's also possible I've taken half my profit here, and the other half the profit just keeps going, and only after 2 p.m. do I tighten my stops. Well, what a monster move. And those of you that watched the Financial Summit YouTube channel this morning specifically heard me say, watch the 11 a.m. reversal. I was very clear on that. And at exactly, 5 minutes before 11 a.m., this is still a candle at the low. Right here, your first sign of strength happened at 10:55. And that's pretty damn close to 11 a.m. I will. This would have been one of my best trades, had I. So tempting to just stop. I have a conference coming up. There's no way I was going to take on trades and deal with more shit. But so tempting to just retire and go back to trading. So tempting. Okay, let's talk geopolitics, which is what this channel is about. Let's recap the debate. We have a couple of highlights. I'm going to do them on 2x speed. I'm going to pause. 175 is good enough. I'm going to be pausing it and giving my commentary. Moderators, see if there's anything interesting. Throw it into the Telegram that we have. Let me check your live stream right now. Let me check your comments. Robotic voice. Weird sound. Shit. Am I still having sound problems? I don't really know what to tell you. I just switched the microphone over to my laptop microphone. I know it's going to be terrible. I'm going to switch back to the $300 Rhodes. Let me get confirmation on audio. Okay, it's good now. I got confirmation that it's good now. Okay. Yeah, I switched off the Rhodes and went back to the Rhodes. Okay. Okay, I'm not using OBS. I'm not. My IQ isn't 380. I'm not. I refuse to deal with OBS. I'm too stupid to figure out how to use OBS. I've tried and I failed on multiple occasions. I'm not doing it again. I need a simpler solution. I might do Restream. I'm gonna get this channel banned sooner or later, so I'll need to move on to Rumble anyway. Okay, let's let me turn on computer audio. Oh wait, that's not what I meant to press. Okay, well, let me know if the computer audio is good. I'm gonna, man, let me just, before we go on with the highlights, I just want to say I was watching that debate. Was watching that debate with some senior members of my family, and it was very evident early on in the debate, and that not so much Trump, but it was so obvious early on in the debate that Kamala knew the questions ahead of time. She was unreasonably well prepared. Now, I know that they're claiming that she spent 20 hours a day the last 3 weeks practicing for this debate with like a Trump lookalike standing at the podium. I've heard all of that, okay? And they made sure they talked about that, on the left-leaning media. But she was unreasonably well prepared. I'm used to listening to Kamala Harris being a stumbling, giggling idiot in all public appearances. And she came off, pretty intelligent, which is rare. And she came off very prepared. And I tell you what, Trump did not look good in this debate. If I had to, I mean, like, there's no point of picking winners and losers, but if I had to choose who made themselves look better in this debate and who made themselves look worse in this debate, Kamala definitely looks way better, and Trump definitely looks way worse. So don't be surprised if Kamala wins this election. I mean, they're going to cheat anyway, but it just became a lot easier for the Democrats to cheat in this election based on this performance. Now, having said that, let's listen to highlights. I'm going to pause and give my commentary. I posted the link to the full video in the video description. So without any further ado, let's go. Let me know if the sound's off or something.
Presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump meeting on the debate stage for the first time.
Maybe that's a little too fast.
Kamala Harris. Subject base.
Have fun.
Thank you.
The vice president walking to the former president's podium to shake his hand in Philadelphia.
I will say that was a little that was a boss move by Trump. She's the one that had to walk all the way across to shake his hand. That was a bit of a Chad move by Trump. That was good, and I don't know why she had to tell him her name. I'm sure he knows what her name is. That was weird. And but I will say the first thing I noticed about Trump, he doesn't look that healthy. Like his face is a lot more orange than usual, and it was definitely on the extra orange side. Like he did not look the sharpest.
Two standing just 6 feet apart. From the start, the gloves were off.
Tonight, you're going to hear from the same old tired playbook. A bunch of lies, grievances, and name-calling.
Trump punching back.
She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor in economics, and he taught her well.
The stakes could...
Okay, so this ABC highlight video is actually like totally biased towards Harris. Now, I haven't fact-checked that her father is a Marxist economics professor, but that's probably true. She is very, very Marxist. And that is not this is factual. She's a pure communist, completely Marxist, and her vice president is even worse. So I don't see a problem with that statement by Trump. That is very accurate. not name calling. This is, in my view, that's absolutely factual.
But not be higher for tonight's debate. The two candidates locked in a dead heat in polls. The economy and inflation on the top of American voters' minds. Trump laying the blame on the Harris and Biden administration.
We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before, probably the worst in our nation's history. We were at 21%.
Harris responding.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression.
That is pure and utter bullshit, okay? I mean, look, Trump fucked up. Trump allowed the, I'm not going to blame it on the Democrats either. Trump allowed the evil people of the world, of America, the other side, the evil people in his own administration like Fauci and many others. Trump allowed these evil people to convince him to shut down economy for 2 weeks, which became a 2-year shutdown, okay? So yes, Trump is to blame. However, if he did not fall victim of his own doing to shutting down the economy in his final year, there would have been massive employment, okay? In 2019, I believe 2019 was the greatest economic year in my lifetime for towards prosperity. Maybe in the late 1990s with the dot-com boom, but you saw how that ended. This one could have been way more sustainable than the late 1990s dot-com stuff. Okay, that was also pretty prosperous in the US. 2019 was an incredible year, and 2020 with the pandemic. So she's blaming Trump for what happened in 2020, which is pure bullshit. Okay, guys, I don't see any comments in the live chat, so I hope everything is working well. And so that's bullshit, right? It was them that forced the shutdown. They again, I'm not putting all the blame on the Democrats, but the Democrats obviously wanted Trump to destroy the economy in his final year so they can take credit for rebuilding the economy, or they can put in their Marxist mandates of vaccine passports and all the and banning guns and anything else they want to do. We'll get to the gun story later.
Donald Trump left us the worst public health epidemic in a century.
Like the Trump.
Again, also pure bullshit, okay? That Donald Trump, it wasn't Donald Trump's fault. In fact, had Trump listened to the real experts, he would have never locked down the economy. He would have never forced vaccines onto people. And they would have had significantly better and less invasive means of dealing with the virus, which we now know in hindsight was created by the same evil people that wanted to shut down the economy. So that was, pure bullshit, and Trump should have pushed back harder on her saying that.
Biden debate tonight, there was no studio audience and the microphones were turned off.
And remember this, she is Biden. She's trying to get away from Biden. I don't know the gentleman, she says. She is Biden. The worst inflation we've ever had, a horrible economy because inflation has made it so bad that you can't get away with that.
Harris responding.
Well, again, I'm not going to, in the same light, Trump was the cause of a lot of that inflation because he allowed the economy to be shut down, and he created the supply chain problem that was the leader of that inflation. Plus, he had to print money because the economy is shut down. So blaming all of the inflation on the Biden administration is also not fair. Trump takes a bit of the blame for that inflation. Okay, I will be fair to both sides here. Now, the earring controversy is going to be interesting. We're going to talk about that after.
Clearly, I'm not Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump. And what I do offer is a new generation of leadership for our country.
The debate turning personal.
Again, that's kind of bullshit. I mean, she's been in a leadership position for 4 years now, and the country has gone into the toilet. So Trump should have pushed back on that a lot more.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be
That's also bullshit. We all know the election was fraudulent.
clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that.
Trump claiming Biden was pushed off the Democratic ticket.
You talk about a threat to democracy. He got 14 million votes and they threw him out of office. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret.
The 14 million votes was in the Democratic primary. Kamala didn't get any votes in the Democratic primary 4 years ago, and that's why she was one of the first to quit. And now without any kind of democracy. She is the Democratic choice, which is, again, pure bullshit.
He hates her. He can't stand her.
Both candidates getting heated when discussing the issue of abortion, an area of vulnerability for the GOP.
Her vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. And that's not okay with me, hence the vote.
ABC News fact-checking the former president.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born.
Harris, after reminding Americans of Trump's role in selecting members of the Supreme Court who overturned Roe v. Wade, went on the attack.
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade, and as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America.
According to a Pew Research Center study, a majority of Americans believe abortion should be legal in all or most cases. President Trump hammering the Biden administration on the border.
Okay, can we talk about the abortion issue for a second? That was a big controversial topic. Now, Trump brought up the statement that Democrats want to abort babies after they're born. And he's getting a lot of flack for saying that. Wait, hold on a second. Hey, Gary Garrettson, what's going on? You're a moderator. How do you get banned? Anyway, okay. Now, that is not a crazy statement by Trump. Now, I will say I don't know the laws of every single state. The Supreme Court ruled that the states now get to decide their own abortion laws. And I don't have a problem with the Supreme Court ruling that at all, okay? My view is this is a state issue. This should not be a federal government issue. So I agree with the Supreme Court that the state should decide the abortion situation. Now, here, I'm going to play this video for you guys because, like I said, this is not crazy what Trump is saying. Now, this may not be law in any state yet, but if the Democrats had control of all the if the Democrats had control of the House, if the Democrats had control of Congress, and if the Democrats had, most of their own people on the Supreme Court, or if the Democrats stacked the Supreme Court like they want to do, and if the Democrats had the presidency, this is the kind of law that Democrats would be interested in putting in. Now, listen to this very, very carefully. I'm going to play it at 1.5 speed, not as fast as before. And this was from 5 years ago. Okay, this was 5 years ago. I remember this clearly 5 years ago.
Begin this hour with Virginia lawmakers. They were considering a plan to legalize abortion up to birth, but the measure failed to get out of the subcommittee last night, and the delegate leading the fight to save the lives of the unborn says it isn't over. Our Mark Martin is following this story for us and joins us in the CBN newsroom. Mark, tell us about the bill and if it could come up again.
After I spoke with Virginia Republican Delegate Todd Gilbert, who is the majority leader and chairman of the subcommittee that killed the bill. He talked about the status of House Bill 2491, which was defeated along party lines 5-3. The bill is known as the Repeal Act and would remove all existing restrictions on abortion in Virginia.
I think the bill in question is done and over with for the session. We will not see it again. What is very telling about this particular bill and the ideas behind it, however, is that the governor of Virginia signaled last week, in fact, very clearly, that he would sign this bill into law if it was placed on his desk. And the only thing keeping that bill from being placed on his desk is our very narrow 51-49 Republican majority in the House and 21-19 Republican majority in the Virginia Senate.
This bill would remove the following.
Virginia Democratic Delegate Kathy Tran, who you see there, proposed the bill this week to allow a woman to have an abortion even while she is in labor. And
so here it is. So this was a bill that the Democrats tried to pass that would allow abortion during labor.
Just moments away from giving birth. Gilbert questioned Tran about the bill during the hearing, asking her what exactly her bill would allow.
Where it's obvious that a woman is about to give birth. She has physical signs that she's about to give a birth. Would that still be a point at which she could request an abortion if she was so certified? She's dilating.
Mr. Chairman, that would be a decision that the doctor, the physician, and the woman.
I understand that. I'm asking if your bill allows that.
My bill would allow that, yes.
Gilbert went on to tell me that it's possible that similar bills could be brought up in the Virginia state legislature.
Obviously, this is
Right, so there you go, right? So this was a bill that the Democrats tried to pass that would allow abortion during labor. Okay, so the baby's head is already out, the baby is already crying, and abortion is still possible. Okay. So what Trump said is not crazy. Okay. Now they're like they all went screaming and yelling how no, there's no law on this anywhere. Well, there's no law on it yet, right? But bringing it up as what the Democrats want to do is not crazy, right? Trump should have expressed it better. They tried and failed because I don't agree with that. I don't know how many people watching agree with this. Okay, but the Democrats are pushing the abortion issue a little too far, in my opinion. Okay.
An area of vulnerability for Harris.
There's never been anything done like this at all. They've destroyed the fabric of our country. Millions of people let in, and all over the world, crime is down all over the world except here.
Harris defending her record, pointing to the bipartisan border bill that Trump killed.
That bill would have put more resources to allow us to prosecute transnational criminal organizations for trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings. But you know what happened to that bill? Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress, and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
At one point,
Okay, so that makes no sense to me, right? Donald Trump is not the president of the United States. And so how does Donald Trump have the power to privately call a bunch of Republicans to kill a bill from the Biden administration of them solving the border issue? First of all, we all know the Biden administration has no intention of solving the border issue. In fact, the border situation is exactly what the Democrats want, like maximum number of illegals and getting them to vote in the election. That's basically what the plan has been. And how would they know that Trump did that, right? Are they monitoring his phone calls? I mean, yes, they're using the Justice Department and the FBI like their own personal, KGB and Gestapo, but how does she know that, right? And how does she know to say that in this debate? But so anyway, so I thought that was really, really weird. How would Donald Trump have the power as a nobody right now? Again, Donald Trump is a nobody. He doesn't have any positions in the government. So how is he able to shut down a bill that she claims would solve the border issue? They're probably, again, I don't believe them. And I do believe the U.S. government is involved in child trafficking. I haven't talked about this much, but I do believe that these NGOs and other government organizations are assisting in, child trafficking through the border.
point Trump repeating debunked claims about immigrants in Springfield, Ohio.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there had been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being.
Again, was this being pre-recorded? Like while Trump said that, somehow this guy managed to call the city manager of Ohio, got him on the phone, and got confirmation that pets are not being. I'm not saying pets are being eaten in Springfield, Ohio, by migrants, and he specifically mentioned Haitians. Now, I'm not saying this is true, but I want to know how the hell are they fact-checking him on what he just said in real time? I find that very, very suspect. We're going to get to this. We're going to dive a little deeper on this one.
Being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Both candidates going after one another. Harris needling.
Okay, so let's talk about the Springfield, Ohio situation. Now, Trump went a little bit overboard. Again, this is why Trump performed so badly. He didn't have to specifically say dogs, cats, and pets. He could have just said, I'm hearing rumors or stories that animals are, being eaten by migrants in Springfield, Ohio, right? And here's a video that was posted earlier today. Thank you to someone in my off-topic group chat. I'm gonna give him a shout out. Let me get the name here. Who posted that? Warnher. Thanks, man. I'm not gonna dox your whole name. Thanks for posting this video, and I found it to be very interesting. So I'm gonna play it. Let's see what the speed is here. I have it at 2x. Maybe I'll lower it a little bit for you guys. 175. This is a man from Springfield, Ohio. He has a YouTube channel about cars. Empty Pockets Garage. His name is James. He only has less than 3,000 subscribers, and his video from this morning already has 200,000 views. If I refresh this, it'll probably have over 200,000 views.
Hey everybody, this is James Empty Pockets Garage. I want to make a quick video to address something that's looks like it's made national and international news about the Haitian migrants that has been thrust upon us here in Springfield, Ohio, because that is where I live. And I just wanted to address the issue a little bit because I've seen a lot of stuff on national news and a lot of YouTube content creators weighing in on this situation. And I've even seen where they've, because for whatever reason, some news outlets are showing videos that are really not from here or have anything to do with the Haitian migrants here or about what they do. And it kind of irritates me that because this is a small town, so there's not like a bunch of videos that people like stop with their phones and start recording stuff when they see it. It's just not that kind of a place. So there isn't a whole lot of video evidence of this stuff happening, and the fact that some news outlets are using videos that have nothing to do with this town, and then everybody's saying, well, this is a nothing murder, it's fake news. Well, I am a resident of Springfield, Ohio, and it is not fake news. There is an issue with them, because we have, in our local park, they literally have ducks down there that the park takes care of, and it's where they live. And they are being killed and eaten. And as far as people's personal pets, I've heard stories, but I can't answer to that personally because I don't know. But I can tell you, because this is a car channel, I do car content, I can approach this story from the car issue. And when I say that, I mean their driving issues. And I witnessed this. They literally, and they have to have a translator wherever they go. They literally have been in the DMV where, like, I go and get my license plate renewed, and it's also where you get your license, obviously. And they literally have a translator, and they show up with a piece of paperwork that grants them driving privileges with no proof that they can actually drive, just that they're of age. It gives them driving privileges for 45 days, and in 45 days they can go back and renew it, and they never have to show proof of how competent of a driver they are. We can't do that. And the accidents that are happening here in this town are crazy stories. And like I said, I witnessed some of this, so I'm approaching this from a car aspect. They can't drive. I don't know how they are even able to do this legally in this country, but they hit trees, fire hydrants, people. I mean, there's been fatalities from them not really knowing how to drive. And as far as some of the stories where I've seen and even somebody called this old lady a Karen because she was complaining about the rudeness of them, just her trying to go to the grocery store. Well, it's a fact. They are some rude individuals, and I mean rude. I actually had some live across the street from me for a while, a 2-bedroom house. There must have been a dozen of them living there, and they get transported around. Some Haitians some of the ones that I've actually been in conversation with, the ones that are driving can comprehend the English language a little bit, but the ones that's driving the van that goes around and picks them up, they have their own little network of getting people around that don't have a car, transporting them all over. And they literally pull up and they lay on their horn, and I don't mean for like beep beep, I mean sometimes 5 minutes straight, to where I literally had to go out and go up to the dude and tell him to shut the motherfucking van off, get your ass out of the van, go up to the goddamn door and fucking knock on it. Nobody wants to hear this horn blow over and over and over again. And I thought there was going to be a fight right then and there until he realized that I'm an open carry person. So it kind of de-escalated the conversation real quick. And from that point, he did, going forward, get out of the van and go up and knock on the door. So I'm saying,
oh, good for him for being an open carry person, right? That's what he said. He literally walked up to the guy in the van and told him, stop honking the horn, go knock on the door. And he said the only reason why there wasn't a fight is because the other guy saw that he's open carry. And yeah, so he said he had to go to the DMV, and that's what he saw. And also Springfield, Ohio, it's probably a very small community, and he's just telling you what he's noticing, right? I don't see why he would be lying, right? He specifically said I don't know of anyone that has lost their pets, but he clearly talked about the ducks in the park. Okay, so yes, there are problems with migrants in Springfield, Ohio. Okay, so again, Trump isn't wrong. He's just not doing a very good job expressing himself, which is not good.
Trump about his rallies.
You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there.
ABC News anchor.
I mean, that's a good point, right? People are leaving his rallies early. Yeah, but they go to his rallies, right? No one's going to her rallies. They had to Photoshop a bunch of people in front of an airplane waving when she was landing because there was nobody there. So, sure, yeah, obviously people will leave a rally early. Rallies last a long time. People usually have to get in there super early. I left Trump's speech early on January 6th, right? I was there listening to Trump, and he was speaking for like almost an hour. And I left that speech early in order to walk towards the Capitol, right? I mean, this is not a secret. Just because you're leaving his speech early doesn't mean you're not there supporting him. So that's a silly statement by Kamala. And Trump could have pushed back on that even a little bit more.
Lindsey Davis challenging the vice president on her changing positions.
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president, you said you wanted to ban fracking. Now you don't. You wanted mandatory government buyback programs for assault weapons. Now your campaign says you don't. You supported decriminalizing border crossings. Now you're taking a harder line. I know you say that your values have not changed. So then why have so many of your policy positions changed?
So my values have not changed, and I'm going to discuss at least every point that you've made.
Tonight was crucial for both candidates, but for Harris, it was her biggest stage yet as she reintroduces herself to voters, with recent polls showing nearly a third of voters say they still don't know enough about her. Well,
okay, wow. So Lindsey Davis actually asked a really good question. The moderators were definitely biased towards Kamala, but ABC did not cover her answer. So obviously Kamala is flip-flopping on all the issues. Yes, the Democrats are against, they killed the Keystone Pipeline. They are against fracking. I'm not saying fracking is good. I'm not a big fan of fracking myself. But I'm not a fan of fracking for, not because I want to get rid of fossil fuels. I'm against fracking because I know how kind of bad it is for the local environment and the water. And so I do have a geology background. I'm not a fan of fracking, but there are other ways. Like I'm not against oil drilling if you're doing it safe. So, but she is definitely like they were forced to allow the continued oil drilling and fracking, right? Like if it was up to them, they would ban it and have people cut down wood to heat their homes, right? So she's definitely against that, and she mentioned other issues, and she's flip-flopping on all of them, right? Because she just wants votes. Now. Someone is raising questions about Photoshop. Okay, Kamala, let's Google this. Hopefully it's still on Google, right? So Kamala gets off airplane with Photoshopped crowd. I don't know. Let me see. You can Google this, right? I mean, they found it in the reflection. I think it was this. You gotta find it. Let me see. Right, so you have a reflection here of what's actually happening on the ground, and yet somehow there was like 1 million people standing there. So this was like a photoshopped image. Anyway, look for it. Look for that story. Let's get back to this.
Tonight was her first presidential debate. She did not hold back.
When you then talk in this way in a presidential debate and deny what over and over again are court cases you have lost because you did in fact lose that election, it leads one to believe that perhaps we do not have in the candidate to my right the temperament or the ability to not be confused about fact.
Trump launching attacks on Harris's record.
She's worse than Biden. In my opinion, I think he's the worst president in the history of our country. She goes down as the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Tonight was Trump's 7th presidential debate. Less than 3 months ago, he was on the debate stage facing off against a different candidate.
With the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Shortly after Trump survived an assassination attempt. Then Biden dramatically ending his bid for a second term, passing the torch to his vice president. Polling shows Harris and Trump locked in a tight race. A New York Times CNN poll found Trump leading Harris by 1 percentage point. The former president's support holding steady despite a New York jury finding him guilty on all 34 counts of falsifying business records in the Stormy Daniels hush money case.
I think this is so rich coming from someone who has been prosecuted for national security crimes, economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable for sexual assault, and his next big court appearance is in November at his own criminal sentencing.
Trump responding.
I'm winning most of them, but those are cases. It's called weaponization. Never happened in this country. They weaponized the Justice Department.
Tonight's debate coming in.
That is actually 100% factual. The current administration has weaponized the Justice Department and the FBI, and they're just going after him for anything and everything. And then they have literally the district attorney in New York, who got elected from the money of George Soros, got elected on the fact that they were going to prosecute Trump. I mean, this is I mean, it's kind of criminal. Like the attorney should be arrested for literally because he stated, "Hey, if I get elected, I'm gonna go after Trump." I mean, that is I don't understand how that's constitutional. But hey, that's what it is, and all the other stuff down in Georgia, same thing. It's a completely corrupt U.S. Justice system. It's always been corrupt, but now it's extra corrupt with the FBI and DOJ right at the top of it. And yes, they did try to assassinate Trump. I still stick to that view.
Amidst prolonged conflict in the Middle East, Israel a controversial topic.
She hates Israel. If she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now. And I've been pretty good at predictions, and I hope I'm wrong about that one. She hates Israel.
Vice President Harris, he says you hate Israel.
That's absolutely not true. I have my entire career and life supported Israel and the Israeli people. He knows that. He's trying to, again, divide and distract from the reality, which is it is very well known that Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign policy. It is well,
that's actually not true at all. Trump is not weak on national security policy. I mean, Trump made bad decisions while he was president on national security, but he definitely wasn't weak about it. It wasn't a weak move to execute an Iranian general. I think it was an ill-advised move to do so, but it certainly wasn't a weak move. So she is very incorrect on that. And her position on Israel, she doesn't know what to think about Israel, right? On the one hand, she can't blatantly say she's against Israel because then she wouldn't be standing on that stage. Because Zionist money is covering both sides of the political spectrum. And on the other hand, she can't exactly be a crazy pro-Israel because that hurts her with the anti-war crowd, which is a substantial percent of the U.S. population. So she has to thread this needle of being as neutral on the Israel-Gaza situation as possible. Now, Trump, on the other hand, is very pro-Israel, and I disagree with his position on this issue. And I think the Israel-Gaza situation is Trump's weakest point. But Trump being as pro-Israel as he is will not hurt Trump in the polls. But her being as pro-Israel as Trump is will definitely hurt her in the polls. So he is pushing on this issue. I think he is, it's to his advantage to push on this issue the way he does, but that's because he knows it won't hurt him in the polls. And because, you know what, I'll give my view on it now. Here's the thing. Trump, I believe Trump is a strong leader, even though he's made very weak decisions, like the global lockdowns, like the US lockdowns and the vaccine stuff, and a few others, right? Because he was convinced by very evil people and he couldn't stand up to them. Having said that, Trump is still more of an independent thinker than someone like Kamala. So when Trump is being very pro-Israel, there is at least a chance. I'm not saying it's a high probability chance, but there is a chance that Trump will call up Netanyahu after he's elected and tells him to go eat something. And I'm not going to say what, not to get the channel banned, and tell him that we're going to do a two-state solution. it's possible Trump is pretending that he is this much pro-Israel, and in reality, he actually does want peace in the region and he wants a deal. It's possible. This is not possible with Kamala Harris. Okay, she does not have the cojones to actually create a two-state solution. Even if she wants to defund Israel, even if she hates Israel, there will be nothing she can do about Israel. She will not be able to bring a two-state solution to the table because she's not a strong leader. And if she shows any sign of strength, she will be removed as president, just like Biden is basically would have been removed as president if Biden knew what he was doing. Okay? Now, I will bring up one more controversial issue. The deep state definitely tried to take Trump out. And the way, and it wasn't random how they tried to take Trump out. They tried to take Trump out with an AR in order for then the new president to ban the AR, the AR rifle. Okay, wow, I almost said automatic rifle. So in order to ban the AR, so if Trump was actually assassinated with the AR, there would have been a massive push to ban AR and eventually ban all guns. Also, and I had this conversation with my friend Mark right after our show yesterday. I don't know if I've said it publicly, so I'll say it now. So had Trump been successfully assassinated, which I am 99.9% convinced was deep state, with the Secret Service involved, with the FBI involved, and probably Homeland Security involved. I don't care how many good agents may be working at the Secret Service. 90% of them need to be replaced and fired, and maybe a few snipers and maybe a few bodyguards can keep their jobs. But other than that, I think that entire department needs to be overhauled and the entire FBI probably needs to be abolished. But anyway, had Trump been successfully eliminated, Nikki Haley would have been the Republican nominee because she lasted the longest against him. And we were all wondering why Nikki Haley spent so much time in the election knowing that she's doing so bad, and it was for that reason. Now, if Donald Trump is not running for president and is not on the ballot, like I didn't expect him to be on the ballot, Nikki Haley would be on the ballot, and there's no way Kamala would be on the ballot either. Biden is still stepping down, and now all these other Democrats would step up like a Gavin Newsom. My prior opinion was that Biden was going to step down earlier. Kamala becomes president. Gavin Newsom becomes vice president. Kamala does not run for president. She allows Gavin Newsom to run for president. I think that still would have happened had Trump been successfully eliminated. But because Trump wasn't eliminated, Gavin Newsom did not want the embarrassment of losing to Trump. So he never stepped up. And along with others like Big Mike and maybe the governor from Minnesota and some of the other people would have, or Hillary, they would have attempted to run for president if it wasn't against Trump. But against Trump, no one was willing to do it, and they threw, Kamala Harris as the sacrificial lamb. And if she happens to win, she's going to have a very short leash, because what they tried to do to Trump in order to ban the AR is probably there in the back of the deep state mind. Hey, we couldn't get our plan of banning the AR with the Trump elimination. Maybe we can do it with Kamala if she doesn't play ball. So if Kamala decides to suddenly be, pro two-state solution and try to defund Israel and maybe some of the other crazy ideas that aren't, up to standard of the deep state, Kamala is on a very short leash because you know her vice president is more Marxist than even she is. Okay? So everything that they plan to do with the elimination of Trump may still be in the works for Kamala. And imagine the news stories. Imagine if someone, happens to do to Kamala and that someone is a white pro-Trump guy with an AR, right? Bam, your guns are being banned, okay? I don't want to go further down the Tom Vays conspiracy theories, but that's basically wanted to throw that, some thought out there on this.
Well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself.
After the debate, Taylor Swift.
So that is total bullshit. If you take the two side by side, Trump is significantly less of a dictator against the U.S. Constitution than a Kamala, than any Democratic president. I mean, George W. Bush is an exception in this, but yeah, the Democrats and the Democratic presidents, Clinton, Obama, Biden, Kamala, they're way more anti-Constitution than someone like Trump. I mean, the single issue of Second Amendment and free speech is like, come on, it's the Democratic, it's the left side of the spectrum that is trying to censor your speech and take away your guns. It's not the right side of the spectrum. So saying that Trump wants to be a dictator is completely ridiculous.
Endorsing Harris, writing in part on Instagram, "I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them." With the election less than 2 months away, the impact of tonight's debate can't be underestimated.
What matters is what the voters think. But in the end, right now, he is tied with Kamala Harris. Does this change?
All right, so this ABC did not cover all the issues. Let's do a little bit more on this. I'll do this at 1.5 as well.
Kamala Harris, something big. Thank you.
Welcome to you both. It's wonderful to have you. It's an honor to have you both here tonight. Why do you believe it's appropriate to weigh in on the racial identity of your opponent?
I don't, and I don't care. I don't care what she is. I don't care. You make a big deal out of something. I couldn't care less. Whatever she wants to be is okay with me.
But those were your words. So
I don't know.
I thought that was actually a pretty good answer.
I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out, and I'll say that. And then I read that she was black, and that's okay. Either one was okay with me. That's up to her. That's up to her.
I mean, honestly.
I mean, that's a good point, right? Like, she wasn't black before, and now she is. But again, race and gender, it's fluid, right? It's whatever you want to be. As far as I know, she is of Jamaican Indian descent. But hey, if she wants to be black, she can be black. Like, it's really up to her. I mean, our friend Giacomo Zucco was 7 black women at the same time. So it's whatever you want to be.
I think it's a tragedy that we have someone who wants to be president who has consistently, over the course of his career, attempted to use race to divide the American people.
And that is also not true, right? It's actually the Democrats that are using race to divide people. It is not the Republicans. I find that it's the Democrats that constantly gaslighting the race divide for their personal benefit, not the right side of the spectrum.
I do believe that the vast majority of us know that we have so much more in common than what separates us, and we don't want this kind of approach that is just constantly trying to divide us, and especially by race.
Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. She's gone to my philosophy. But if she ever got elected, she'd change it, and it will be the end of our country. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor in economics, and he taught her well. She gave up at least 12 and probably 14 or 15 different policies. Like, she was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute. I'm talking now. If you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar?
I thought that was a boss move. I thought that was funny. That cracked me up. And Trump is right. She was on the defund the police bandwagon, which I don't agree with. I want to abolish the FBI. I want to abolish a bunch of 3-letter agencies. I want to abolish the CIA. But I would rather give more money to local police. Of course, there needs to be more training. There needs to be many other things that the police need to change. If I, again, was SAR, one of the policies that I would put in is, let's say a cop is pulling someone over, right? Before a cop can pull someone over, they have to follow them right in the car. That needs to be documented. I wanted on camera and on the body cam and on the police car cam stated why this person is being pulled over before they get pulled over. Okay, so it's things like that, full documentation. I don't have a problem with local police. I have a problem with federal police and federal law enforcement because, again, they're politicized.
They have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you can look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor.
We already covered this issue, so we'll pass forward on that.
It's born.
Donald Trump, and they did exactly as he intended. And now in over 20 states, there are Trump abortion bans.
I mean, I don't know what a Trump abortion ban is. That one is new for me. But yes, every state gets to choose. We already covered this issue. I'm not gonna. Let's move on.
Place the protections of Roe v. Wade as for to be reelected.
What everybody wanted, Democrats voting, and it may take a little time, but for 52 years, this issue has torn. The states are now voting. What she says is an absolute lie. And as far as the abortion ban, no, I'm not in favor of abortion ban, but it doesn't matter because this issue has now been taken over by the states.
Would you support any restrictions on a woman's right to an abortion?
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade. And as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is
not yet, but if the Democrats had their way, this would be the law of the land. Trust me.
Not happening. It's insulting to the women of America.
No, it's not insulting. I already played you guys a video of bills that are trying to do that.
What we will do is we're looking at different plans. If we can come up with a plan that's going to cost our people, our population, less money and be better health care than Obamacare, then I would absolutely do it. But until then, I'd run it as good as it can be run.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now.
Hey, that's a good point, right? Like they're asking him for his health care plan. Well, he's not president, right? It makes no sense.
Now, but if we come up with something, I would only change it if we come up with something that's better and less expensive. And there are concepts and options we have to do that. And you'll be hearing about it in the not too distant future.
I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies because it's
okay. We already covered the rally issue. Right. Don't forget, right? I mean, like a lot of these people, one of the reasons for abortion was basically a depopulation control in a way. And there's articles where Ginsburg, the champion of abortion, I mean, like it wasn't about women's rights. I mean, like if you read her writings, I gotta pull it up. I don't have it handy. I mean, Ginsburg was, I mean, she wanted abortion in minority neighborhoods. It was on her agenda to try and, I can't say too much about this because I'll probably get my channel banned, but the Judge Ginsburg that everyone championed is the reason why Roe v. Wade went the way it did. I mean, she was a bit of a eugenicist. Like she wanted less minorities, basically, and that's why you had all these Planned Parenthood clinics suddenly pop up in minority neighborhoods. It was she had some notorious ideas as to why this all happened. I'll next time this topic comes up, I'll try to find it. I'm not going to go searching for this on live air. I don't have it handy.
To take their country back. Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came.
All right, we already covered this issue.
Crime in this country is through the roof, and we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime, and it's happening at levels that nobody thought possible.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country.
Well,
I don't see how the FBI can say that the violent crime in this country is coming down. I know crime in general around the world is slowly coming down, but I don't see how that's possible. Also, remember, FBI is one of the most corrupt departments we have in the United States. I remember when I was in college and stuff, FBI was something I was interested in doing back then, like trying to potentially be an FBI agent. I thought it was like it would have been like such a righteous thing to do. And now I can't believe how stupid I was. I consider the FBI to be one of the most corrupt, most disgraced agencies in all of the United States. So anything the FBI says, I almost want to default to saying it's pure bullshit.
I think this is so rich, coming from someone who has been prosecuted.
In case the FBI ever knocks on your door, which is unlikely for a lot of the people watching, more likely for people doing the videos, you have one thing to say to them, which is talk to my lawyer, and take any documents they may hand you. Other than that, after you say talk to a lawyer and have a camera rolling, and if you have a camera rolling, feel free to tell them what corrupt assholes they are. That's what I would do.
For national security crimes, economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable for sexual assault, and his next big court appearance is in November at his own criminal sentencing. Understand, this is someone who has openly said he would terminate, I'm quoting, terminate the Constitution of the United States.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You should also call the sheriff. The problem is if you live in a big city, like if you live in Chicago or Miami or New York, I don't know if these cities have a sheriff. So and you calling the local police is like probably reroutes through the FBI office anyway. But if you live in a small town, then yeah, immediately call the sheriff. If you live in a small town, you have your sheriff's number.
That he would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies.
This is the one that weaponized.
Again, this is bullshit, right? Like she's accusing Trump of what they're actually doing. She also accused Trump for putting like 3 Trump people on the Supreme Court. Trump has a constitutional ability to put people on the Supreme Court if they are, accepted by the legislature. So during Trump's presidency, 3 Supreme Court members passed away or retired. I know 2 of them passed away, and Trump got to appoint 3 of them, right? Like it's not like he arrested a Supreme Court justice and replaced that Supreme Court justice with his own person, right? But the Democrats would love to stack the Supreme Court, and they would love to weaponize the Supreme Court as well. The Supreme Court is what it is. It's and she's accusing Trump of weaponizing the Justice Department, which is something they've been doing for 4 years, and it's a disgrace.
It's not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk.
Yeah, but probably because of that, but most likely it was a deep state plot. I'm surprised he didn't push back more on the fact that they tried to assassinate him.
About democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy.
In the past couple of weeks leading up to this debate, you have said, quote, you lost by a whisker, that you, quote, didn't quite make it, that you came up a little bit short.
That?
Are you now acknowledging that you lost in 2020?
No, I don't acknowledge it at all. I said that sarcastically. You know that. It was said, oh, we lost by a whisker. That was said sarcastically.
Vice President Harris, you heard the president there tonight. He said he didn't say that he lost by a whisker, so he still believes.
The election was stolen. We all know it.
It's come up in the last couple of days. This was a post from President Trump about this upcoming election just weeks away. He said, when I win, those people who cheated, and then he lists donors, voters, election officials, he says will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, which will include long-term prison sentences. One of your campaign's top lawyers responded saying, we won't let Donald Trump intimidate us. We won't let him suppress the vote. Is that what you believe he's trying to do here?
Donald Trump was...
Well, I wouldn't call that weaponizing, right? If Trump can prove that there was cheating, then those people should be held accountable. For the 2020 election. And we know they were cheating, right? There's documentaries on this.
Fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that.
All right, enough of this nonsense. So I already played that. Oh, also during the debate, Trump stated that, let's get to that. We're going to transition to the Russia issue with that. So here's the controversy over the earrings. So, like I said in the beginning of the stream, it definitely felt like Kamala knew what she was doing. She was either fully briefed on the questions weeks in advance, she knew exactly what to say, and I kept looking at her ears during the debate, looking for, like like a receiver to like fall out or something if she turned her head, because obviously gonna hide it in there. It felt like someone was feeding her information in real time. And then later that night or the next morning, all these articles come out about her pearl earrings and how similar they look to these Nova earrings. And when you go to the Nova website, right here, this here, Iceback, I don't even know how to pronounce that. And these are pearl earrings that are also a Bluetooth audio transmission device into your ear. And it's so funny. I don't know if this website is trolling, but they put, the 2024 presidential election edition, okay, of these earrings, because I think they just did that. Special edition for presidential debate. I thought this was hilarious. This happened this morning on their website, but this is something that looks very, very, very similar. And lots of speculation is now happening that she was wearing some kind of earrings that allowed her to listen in. Now, if you zoom in, the earrings do look a little bit different, but I just thought I would point it out. Look, I don't know if she was or wasn't wearing a hearing device. I like to deal with more factual things or blatantly obvious things. But it definitely felt like this wasn't normal Kamala. Someone was feeding her information. Either she knew the questions way in advance, and not only did she know what she was going to say, they were also, but again, between the FBI and the CIA and all the others, they can certainly snoop on Trump and know everything he was going to say during the debate, though Trump is more unpredictable. Yeah, no, I mean, like you can also watch. There's been numerous. I mean, like you saw it with your own eyes, the cheating during the last election. Plus the documentary. What was that documentary about? People driving around town, putting in mail ballots. Uh, can someone remember the name of the documentary? I watched the documentary. It was pretty good. And there was another thing that Trump said. So Trump said that Putin endorsed Kamala Harris. So in case anyone's wondering why Trump said that, we could watch this video here where that happened. It's going to be in Russian, but there are subtitles. I'm going to only play it at 1.5, 1.25, so you can read the subtitles. And I listened to it and I read the subtitles. It is an accurate translation.
Тема, которая не связана напрямую с тем, что мы здесь сегодня обсуждаем, не с экономикой российской и не дальневосточной, это тема предвыборной гонки в США. Не могу не спросить. Вы до этого говорили, что у вас есть, наверное, можно назвать свой фаворит на ней, но он выбыл из гонки. Кто новый? И в ноябре, когда станут известны результаты этой гонки, вы будете звонить поздравлять нового главу государства или нет?
Мы давно не созваниваемся с представителями некоторых государств, Европы и Соединенных Штатов, хотя мы не отказывались от этих контактов, это они их ограничивают. Хотя, конечно, определенной информацией удается обмениваться по различным каналам, прежде всего по каналам МИДа. Что касается фаворитов, то не нам это определять. Это все-таки выбор американского народа. И, я же говорил, у нас, фаворитом, если можно сказать, был действующий президент, господин Байден. Вот его сняли с гонки, но он рекомендовал всем своим сторонникам поддержать госпожу Харрис. Вот и мы тоже так сделаем, будем ее поддерживать. Это, во-первых. А во-вторых...
Завещали, значит, надо, да?
Во-вторых, она так выразительно и заразительно смеется, что это говорит о том, что у нее все хорошо. А если у нее все хорошо, то значит, вот вот Трамп, он же ввел столько количества всяких ограничений и санкций в отношении России, сколько для него ни один президент раньше не вводил. А если у госпожи Харрис все хорошо, то, может быть, она воздержится от таких действий подобного рода.
Или отменит их.
В конечном итоге выбор за американским народом, и мы с уважением будем относиться к этому выбору.
Yeah, so he was really trying not to burst out laughing. He also made fun of Kamala Harris's laugh. And yeah, so Putin's position was Biden is more predictable than Trump. And he says, so therefore, I heard him say it on the Tucker Carlson interview, that Biden is more predictable than Trump. So Russia would rather deal with Biden or not deal with Biden at all. And then he said, well, since Biden is no longer running and Biden supports Kamala, then we might as well support Kamala as well. I think it's a bit of a mistake for Vladimir Putin to comment on this issue. In case Trump does win, and by the way, guys, I was 90% confident Trump was going to win the last election. I expected Trump to win with the greatest margin of victory in re-election history. I expected him to beat Richard Nixon and his election results. And obviously the election was stolen, so Trump didn't win. I am not that confident that Trump is going to win. I think Kamala Harris has a very good chance of winning. And you know what? It could be better for the United States if Kamala Harris wins, because if Kamala Harris wins and they institute the Marxist policies that they want to institute, there is a high probability that there will be secession in the United States. Texas, Florida, I did a whole video on secession. Secession is a lot more likely under a Kamala presidency than it is under a Trump presidency. So in a way, Kamala winning could be better for certain elements of the United States. Keep that in mind as well. So Kamala winning may not be so bad because it increases the probability of Texas seceding along with several other states. Now, someone is saying they will never let America break up. Who is they, right? Aliens? Who is they, right? You sound like a communist saying they will never let Russia break up. Who is they, right? The Israelis? Like, who is they, in your opinion? You have to answer who they are. Right? People can blurb out any random statements they like, right? But there's no they. If the people of America want to split from America, they will. They tried in 1860s, but they failed. They're not going to fail this time. And I explained why they're not going to fail this time. The military is in the South. The military complex. It doesn't matter. What are they going to do? Nuke the United States? The military complex doesn't control people. If people band together and they want to secede, they will secede this time. Okay? The North, the woke leftists are not going to pick up a gun and go to the South to unite the country. That's never going to happen. So if the South wants to secede, they're going to secede. They have the guns and the people that know how to use them. It's the people. At the end of the day, the people do decide their fate. The woke leftists don't have enough people that know how to use a gun. What army is going to march south? Never going to happen. Okay. So, I think Putin should not be commenting on this because if Trump wins the election, Trump holds grudges. So if Trump does, by some miracle, win the election, Trump is not going to be very happy with Putin and his support of Kamala Harris. So if I was Putin, I would hedge my bets and just say whatever, whichever crazy the Americans want to vote for, we'll have to deal with them after they're elected. That's what I would have said. We don't have good choices for president at the moment. And by the way, all the people are in the North, like all the gangs in Chicago that know how to use a weapon, they're not marching down south in order to unite the country either, okay? Karl Marx literally said, by no means should guns be taken away from people. Yeah, that may be true, but that doesn't matter, right? Because the Marxist ideology has become what the Marxists want it to be. It doesn't matter, right? Like what Lenin wanted for Russia was not what Stalin wanted for Russia. And Lenin only had 2 years before probably Stalin took him out, and then Stalin had like what, 30 years of reign? So yeah, it doesn't matter what your initial communist wants. It's the communist that takes over for that communist. It's how they perceive it to be. So whether Marx wanted people to have guns or not want people to have guns is irrelevant, because the current Marxist ideology requires the banning of guns, and that's what it is. Okay, moving on real quick because this video is lasting too long. I will save this for a full-blown video. But the one thing I wanted to mention is the progress in Ukraine, the Russian progress in Ukraine. I'm going to do a quick summary of this, but Russia is advancing very, very heavily on Pokrovsk, and that will be a major, major turning point in the Russia-Ukraine conflict if Russia takes Pokrovsk. We already discussed why that is in a prior video, so watch my prior Russia-Ukraine video. Russian priority right now is to take the regions that are now Russian territory. So they have almost taken all of Luhansk, only one little section missing, little tiny section missing, little tiny section missing. The chunk right here, this is still Donetsk, and they do need to take all of this region. The peace plan that Russia offered is if Ukraine removes all of their military from the 4 annexed Russian regions, which is Luhansk, you see the border right there, Donetsk, you see the border right here, Zaporozhye, you see the border right here. So yes, Ukrainian troops and all military would have to leave Zaporozhye, including the capital of the region, which is Zaporozhye. And this is still an area of Kherson. Right now, Russia has a problem crossing into this area because of Donetsk River that goes down this area. But Russia will only talk peace with Ukraine if Ukraine completely gives up these regions. Ukraine is not interested in giving up these regions, and there's still fighting going on in these regions. Now, if we turn back the clock, you can see how right now the Russian progress is into the city of Pokrovsk, which is right here. And it's super strategically important. It cuts the supply line between the north side and the south side. It gives Russia high ground. And by taking this area, it basically takes Ukraine's biggest stronghold with their best fortifications. This is a major battle. I don't know if they'll take it by end of year, but they are trying to take it. The sooner the Russia takes it, the better for Russia. Because if Trump comes in and tries to make a deal with Russia, but either way, Russia said no deal will be made unless these regions have no more war in them, and they are strictly Russian territory. Okay, that's when the peace deal can start to be negotiated. Only under that circumstance. And Ukraine agrees never to join NATO, and these two things are unacceptable to NATO. If we turn back the clock, how do I turn back the clock? Time. If we turn back the clock, let's go maybe to the beginning of the summer. Let's go to May and just take a visual screenshot of this map. Actually, let's go to the beginning of the year. Let's go to January, and let's see how much territory Russia has gained in this region since the start of the year. So take a mental image of how much dark red there is, and now I'm going to click on Jan 1st. All right, why isn't this going away? Trying to delete these, but there they are. Okay, you can see how much less red there is. This is before Russia even took Avdiivka. There's Avdiivka. There's this, the area that they struggled to take, and now they are almost at Pokrovsk. So once they took Avdiivka, they marched straight west. Okay, so you can see this is white, and on the new one, I think I had it like this, and all of this was red. And they are moving in this direction because this is just the most critical path going straight west from Avdiivka into Pokrovsk. Okay, and now let's go back to the latest version. Okay, so you can see how all of this was white and now it's red. Now, it doesn't look like Russia gained a lot of ground, but these are incredibly strategic areas that they're way more strategic than this entire area here beyond the river. This is way more strategic than taking the big city of Zaporozhye. This will significantly help Russia. Now, let's talk about one other thing, and that is the Ukrainian progress in Kursk, and this has been completely stalled. Latest reports are showing that Russia is now on the offensive. Now, Russia is not in a rush to take this area back. They don't, now that the embarrassment of them losing this area already happened, Russia is using this to their full advantage of using defensive strategies to take out as many Ukrainians as possible. And as long as Ukrainians are on native Russian soil, pre-1991 Russia, Russia has no reason to agree to any negotiation from Ukraine. So this plays right into Russian advantage, and I'll keep you posted on how that evolves. The one thing that I did want to talk about today, and we're going to close out on this, I'll spend maybe 10 minutes on this. This article was published in the Washington Post 2 years ago, a few months after Russia went into Ukraine, okay? And they talk about the natural resources of Ukraine and how wealthy Ukraine is. This is a pretty detailed article from the Wall Street Journal. It is linked in the video description. You may want to check it out. Here is an image from that article. It shows you that this is eastern Ukraine, where Russia is saying that Russia will only go till the river for multiple reasons. The biggest reason being is everything east of the river, the people living in this area are more Russian on the spectrum of Ukrainians. They lean more Russian. And anyone living west leans way more EU, and anyone living east of the river leans more towards Russia, ethnically, historically, things like that. And obviously, the closer you get to the river, the more you get pro-Europe, and the further you get away from the river, the more you get pro-ancestral Russia. And you can see how the mineral wealth, whether it's natural, whether it's energy like gas and oil, whether it's metals or whether it's, coal, which is soft, they're all concentrated on the east side of the river. I kind of enjoyed looking at these more geological style maps. I do have a degree in geology, so I like looking at this, brought back a lot of memories of analyzing geological maps as part of my undergraduate degree. And this was a very, very good image. This image is in Russian, and it's super important. Let me break this down for you a little bit, because I know not everyone speaks Russian. I'm going to zoom in on the map here. This is the value of the land in that region, okay? And these are the 4 regions that Russia has annexed from Ukraine, even though they're not occupying all of this land yet. Now, this number here, 3.2 trillion, TRLE in Russian, this is trillions. This region, Luhansk, is worth 3.2 trillion based on the natural resources in this region. Donetsk is worth 3.8 trillion. This is the most valuable piece of real estate in all of Ukraine. Zaporozhye is 605 billion, and Zaporozhye and Kherson is only 10 million. This is very, very low. Okay, this is very low value of the tree. I'm surprised that it's this low. It doesn't have a lot of natural resources, but the black box represents oil. Okay, it represents oil, probably with access to the Black Sea. And the blue box, I believe, is gas, but we will get to that. Okay, but the pipelines are going through this area, so this is valuable for other reasons. This is strictly natural resources. Now, the next valuable region is 3.5 trillion, and that's Dnipropetrovsk region. And if Russia, if a peace deal is not made, I guarantee you the next 2 regions that Russia wants to take is, of course, Kharkov and Dnipropetrovsk, and they're very interested in Dnipropetrovsk for this reason. In addition, of course, Odessa, because of its access to the Black Sea. Don't underestimate these 2 very cheap regions, okay? They're only worth 10 million each in natural resources, but they have value because they block Ukraine. I mean, it's worth trillions of dollars to Russia to block Ukraine's access to the Black Sea, okay? Keep that in mind as well. Like, access to the Black Sea is really, really important. And you can prevent Ukrainian access to the Black Sea by taking these 2 regions, which is Nikolaevka, which they have to take in order to take Odessa. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, here are the mineral breakdown in this graph. You can Google for this graph. You can find it online. And I'll translate these for you. So here is the valuable stuff. The valuable stuff is oil. Yep, I was right. That is natural gas right here. And this purple is very, very important. You see the purple right here and right here. The purple is lithium. This is liti. This is lithium, if you translate it from Russian to English. And I don't know how true this is, but one of the biggest lithium mines or lithium deposits, it may not be mined yet. One of the biggest lithium deposits is near, where are we here? Is in this area, okay? It's near Pokrovsk. And I don't know if the mine already exists or you could mine for it. Lithium is a thing that's in demand more recently because of electric cars. So it's a massively in-demand natural resource. And the majority of the lithium is in this region, okay? You see a little bit of purple here, but it's not as valuable as the amount of lithium here. And I don't see lithium in this region. So it's basically just here and here, okay? Lithium is super valuable. This is aluminum. This is urine. This is uranium. Uranium, again, another very valuable element for nuclear energy. You have your uranium here. This is manganese, manganese. CPA, this is sulfur. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's sulfur. This is clay. Mid. Oh man, I'll get. Well, what is that? Shit. Copper. That's copper. That's gold. Zolot's gold. That's titanium. Железо. This is iron. Каменное, this is salt. Соль is salt. Серебро, that's silver. Уроль, this is coal. And zinc. That's zinc. Okay, and not zinc. Okay, so these are your minerals. There's your translation. Take a screenshot so you have an idea of the land minerals are. Okay, and this is another reason why Ukraine doesn't want to give up this land and never wanted to give up this land. It is two of the three most valuable regions, and they're most valuable by 3 to 4x, right? Nothing else is over $1 trillion, and these two regions are 3.2 trillion, 3.8 trillion, and this next region is 3.5 trillion. And if Ukraine doesn't, agree to Russian demands, they're going to lose this $3.5 trillion region as well. Okay, this does deserve its own video. I didn't want to smash this into the Kamala versus Trump video, but I don't know when the next time I get to do a video, so we did it right now. All right, and on this note, we can check and see what the price of Bitcoin is closing the day at. It was a very nice recovery for the day, completely driven by the stock market. I talked this morning about an 11 a.m. reversal taking place, and this is one of the greatest 11 a.m. reversals I have ever seen. Usually it's a 10 a.m. reversal, but if the 10 a.m. reversal doesn't happen and you don't get your entry, I wait till 11 a.m. The 11 a.m. reversal has been one of the biggest reversals I have ever seen. This is a 130-point move up, and this is what's helping to drive Bitcoin higher. Absolutely incredible. It's days like this that makes me want to leave YouTube and just go back to trading, and no one would know what I'm doing at the moment because I am focused on trading and not dealing with trolls or non-troll comments. Okay, I'm gonna stop the screen share here. I'm gonna open one more pack, and then we're gonna call it a day. Where's my pack? Bam! We are still on the hunt for the poker card. Whoa, nice trade. I can't pronounce your name, G-O-K, and a bunch of other letters. All right, guys, is this going to be the lucky pack? I mean, I'll take a Tone Vays card. A Tone Vays card is one of 100 card. I'll take it. So let's see what we got here. We have a Cypherpunks card. I still need a Cypherpunks card from Series 1. That is our Cypherpunks card. We have another a blockchain card. Oh, Genesis block card. We have Dylan McClare. We have Bitcoin Racing, and I think the next card will be another Natalie Brunell. One more Natalie Brunell. Wow, I have so many Natalie Brunells. It's a 1 of 500 card. I'll definitely be trading these, but I am on the hunt for the 1 of 21 poker card. I'm tempted to open one more pack. I don't know how the next time I'll be around these packs. I'm going to go and grab one more pack. I'm really on that hunt for the poker card. All right, last one. Let's see, what do we got here? This is this the halving? No, 21 million card. This is Satoshi Wallet card. I'm not very familiar with that card. That's a Series 2 card. Adam Back, we all know who he is. Sean Harris. A lot of us know he. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth is Nico. Hey, Nico. Speaking of Nico is going to host the Scammy Awards at the upcoming Unconfiscatable event. There's Nico. Here are the rest of the cards. So, shout out to Nico. And I am going to go back to screen share to promote Unconfiscatable. Totally forgot. Unconfiscatable is 1 week away. I am headed to Vegas this weekend to host Unconfiscatable. We still have room at all of the festivities. We still have room for poker. We have a few VIP tickets still left. People have been signing up. These numbers may update. I gotta check how many VIP tickets we actually have left. This says 5. Hold on, let me close this. Let me open this. Let me open the conference one more time from scratch. I think it'll update the amount of tickets available. 3 VIP tickets left. Standard admission, 27. 5 carnivory spots left. That is accurate. Carnivory dinner is almost full. And we have a VIP party in my suite on Thursday for those who are sticking around late. Still not too late to come and join us. It is definitely going to be an awesome event. Our scammy hosts this year are BTC Sessions and Nico. Nico and BTC Sessions are the Scammy Award presenters. I will be on the troll table. All right, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye, guys.